Travis Wingate, so since I'm up all night, I was watching Prince and Me with Julia Stiles. Her character for the majority of her movies that she gets taken in for involves her being a bitchy feminist who hates men but then crumbles under the right guy. Just hilarious. So, going over ABC4 News Utah at the same time. Again, people still are getting misinformed about coronavirus. Testing does not slow it down. It's what you do with testing. You have to isolate people. That's what slows it down. But what our government is failing to remember is that we lose our jobs. We get no money. We can't buy food. We can't buy toilet paper. It's just the push for fascism is just appalling and nightmarish. As I understand from TYT, Britney Spears has turned socialist. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. And then talking to your kids about COVID-19, as the reporter or the anchor for that report herself just had a baby. So, yeah, talking to your kids. She just had a baby. And then we have COVID-19 weddings. So, sure enough, they didn't say it, but it's because the church said we're canceling everything now. And so those who were scheduled within April were told to bump it up to Wednesday. And so Wednesday was their wedding days, as they showed, I think, 2 or 3 different couples. And so with talking to your kids, with the woman who just had a baby, and newly married couples who are going to be having, well, they probably conceived by now. I wonder how many Mormons are going to name their baby COVID. COVID, what does that name mean? Oh, that was just during the COVID-19 virus scandal back in 2020. And so, unfortunately, Salt Lake City police are getting reports of an increase in domestic violence as people are forced to stay home with each other. Marriages seem to stay strong when the couples are able to leave each other. And so, yeah, these stories seem to tie all together, don't they? You got weddings, talking to your kids about COVID, and then domestic violence. All hand in glove. And then, please, stop. This really annoys me. When something bad happens to somebody, and they want to be on the news to be the voice of warning for others. See, Utah's 78th COVID-19 case has warning for peers. Screw you. We all know the dangers. You were the one who got it. And so I don't know how he got it, whether he was at Mardi Gras or the Florida beaches, or if he was just targeted by someone who was randomly walking the streets of Utah. But please, don't pretend that that's now your mission in life, is to warn others. So warnings are something that you do before the danger, not after the danger. See, that's what Trump's now talking about. He's saying, oh, we're going to be prepared for the next time this happens. No, we're not. We aren't learning a single thing this time around. We're just botching it all up. Even Cuomo. God. Just nobody even thinks. They're supposed to be prepared. That's why they have all these agencies. There's supposed to be an agency over if a virus strikes. And they failed. And so in Utah, for example, when COVID-19 hit, and coronavirus, I gotta stop saying COVID. It's coronavirus for us lay folk. The government decides, well, we're gonna form a committee and they're going to research and discuss what to do. And then there's one guy that says, oh yeah, we've already planned for this, we've just never had this experience before. And so what are they doing? Nothing. You know, what is interesting though is Governor Herbert has told people to isolate, but he hasn't made it an order. But Mormons are all lockstep in obedience to the Mormon king and have complied for the most part. So the 78th case was one who got it before Herbert's declaration. And that's what people don't understand. Even with the flu, once you're showing symptoms, you're no longer giving off the virus. It's during the time before, when you're not showing symptoms, where you're spreading it. So the symptoms are just your body's attempt to fight it off and heal yourself. And so again, testing doesn't slow it unless you do something with it. But you can't just isolate. You've got to provide for their needs. And if you force somebody in bed who doesn't need to be bedridden, then you just aggravate the symptoms because they're not getting the exercise. So, I mean, doctors should know all this. So, be looking for COVIDs. Next year, as more couples are staying home together and getting married at the last minute. Oh, that's right. Yesterday, did I not mention about the church poisoning our daughters and for, in my case, my 17 years younger sister? I'm pretty sure Tabitha had gone to that particular girls' camp that the church owns and operates, as I was searching for the list and finally figured out my password to the church's secrets online and got the list. But yeah, they've been poisoning our water. And Sandy got poisoned with the lead poisoning last year or 2 years ago. And then with the earthquake, people are all scared that the pipes have burst and therefore it's polluted their waters. And I don't know why Ogden thinks they're affected, but Ogden doesn't drink water anyway. They drink beer in Ogden. At least that's what I hear from Bill from the Carrie, Bill, and Gina show, the Radio from Hell, KXRK, Provo, Ogden, Salt Lake City. At least that's what it was when I knew it existed. I don't know if they still exist. But, yeah. I mean, we're in chaos. And we can't trust our government. We can't trust the church. We can't trust anyone. And that's a great problem when you're in a crisis. And so once everybody loses their internet service and are no longer able to communicate, and we're isolated completely, we're going to run into some real severe problems, because everybody's going to wonder, am I able to come out now? When can we come out? And nobody will know, because nobody has access to the internet. So expect that to come, along with names of COVID. I'm COVID Smith.